Democrats need a larger lead on the generic ballot to take seats in the House of Representatives that Republicans otherwise would take with a much smaller lead. Okay? Let me see if I'm saying that correctly. Republicans, because of the same thing with the Electoral College and the national vote, all right? Republican candidate can lose the national popular vote, but still win the Electoral College. The Electoral College model, shockingly, is about 4 points. All right? When it comes to the generic ballot, Republicans could have a moderate single-digit lead and rout Democrats in the House because they're overrepresented. Democrats have high population centers. And despite all of their crying about gerrymandering districts, the truth is Democrats gerrymandered for 100 years in the 20th century. They had control of everything. Mm-hmm. And it was only until, even during the Republican Revolution, Republicans did not gerry the way that they started to ungerry, I would say, in 2010, after they won in that big first-term incumbent midterm with Barack Obama. Then they started to finally say, okay, we're going to ungerry and regerry some of these districts the way we want them, or the way we think is more fair. Now, that led to sue till you're blue. Democrats got all, they got their, what's in a bunch, and they started crying about it. But the fact of the matter is, they were just getting a dose of their own medicine that they had given the country throughout the entire 20th century. I kid you not. So now they're left with these urban centers, all right? And bottom line is, Alyssa Slotkin said it the best on one of her little social media forums, one of her little Q&As. She said it the best. They really have to get creative to keep some of these districts from falling into Republican hands. What do I mean by creative? You got to run to a judge. You got to run to a liberal judge in a black outfit and and get them to say that what the elected representative government did was not good enough for them. That's why they call it sue till you're blue. Because they can't get it at the ballot box through the winning of gubernatorial elections and through the winning of state legislatures. So they get judges to do it. I'm telling you, I smell something. I have seen something boiling beneath the surface now. You know that if you watch this show. And Republicans already did pretty well chipping away their majority in November 2020, which looked like what is typically an incumbent re-election cycle. Taking 15 seats got them halfway there. More than halfway there. So basically, they have to defend some hard ones. But if, what's her name? Laura. She was just on. From New York. I always forget her name. Tenney? Claudia Tenney?
Who?
Claudia Tenney? That's her name, I think. From New York. Very tough race. Hundreds of thousands of votes. Decided by 100, 200 votes. There will be tough districts Republicans have to defend. But if the electorate moves to them, then you can rest assured upstate New York is not going to swing to Democrats. Am I right? Tenney? It's Claudia Tenney. Yeah, Tenney, yeah.
I thought you said 10.
No, I just, Claudia Tenney. And there will be some other ones. In California, you'll have Mike Garcia. However, Mike Garcia won that special election by 10 points in the summer before the election and was widely expected to lose 25 in November. And he ended up not losing it. He held on to it by about 400 votes. Again, in an election where it was, what looked to be a pretty typical incumbent president re-election cycle. However, that incumbent president's party lost the popular vote. And yet still gained 15 seats. So when I tell you if Republicans have a few point lead on the generic ballot, the House is going, it's going. It's definitely going. There were districts that they didn't even pay attention to. In Texas, in Minnesota, in New Mexico, by the way, one, but I wouldn't make that case. But in Washington, in Virginia, and by the way, in Florida, you have one district that absolutely could be competitive with the right candidate and the incumbent's out. Retirements are a foreboding. And we saw that for Republicans in 18. Hi folks, Rich Baris, the People's Pundit, host of Inside the Numbers with the People's Pundit, and co-host of What Are the Odds with Barnes and Baris. If you liked what the New York Post called above average transparency, then go ahead and like the page, share the videos, and hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when we're going to go live.